Hey, good morning, MWISD students and parents and supporters and teachers. Today is April the 15th, tax day, although I think that's been extended. And just don't have a whole lot to add today. And if these videos are getting redundant, then feel free not to watch. I'm going to keep putting them out just because there may be some news of something different, here and there as we go forward. And I want to make sure you guys don't miss anything or nobody's out there wondering. We're having about 400 or 500 people watch the English version of the video, and anywhere from 50 to 100 people watch the Spanish version of the video each day. That is down from, we were getting about 1,000 there in the early days, and I do realize there's not a lot new. Most days we've gotten the packets handed out, gotten the Chromebooks handed out, and we're kind of now in more of a normalcy situation with academics being what they are. The grading decisions have been made, which was a big decision. And so there's, very likely a lot of days are just going to be, we're keeping on. We're serving the lunches every day and have been. I don't think I need to keep announcing the times and the location of that. We had 990 something yesterday, so almost 1,000. And we're anywhere from 850 to 1,000 pretty much every day on lunches. Chromebook situation I've updated repeatedly. We still have 30 more that we're waiting to receive and get those passed out, and that should cover us on having everybody that's requested one get one. Excuse me. So those are kind of the big things as far as the services that are continuing. We do have a lot of other situations going on. Yesterday, our baseball coach recognized his senior players on Facebook, which was really nice. I mentioned DC Wittenberg yesterday producing the plastic 3D printed straps for masks for folks that wear masks every day and are tired of those things hooked around their ears, and I hate to start recognizing individuals because I know I'm going to miss people that are doing really good stuff, going above and beyond. But that's kind of the norm. The only real big news, I guess, today is that Governor Abbott is going to be speaking at some point today. I don't know the time, and I only know this because it was in the TEA commissioner's phone call yesterday. He does a 3 days a week now. It was daily at first. Now it's 3 days a week. Does a phone call with the superintendents around the state, and it's a pretty detailed, lengthy deal. It usually lasts about an hour, and we cover every component of schooling that you can think of. TEA has done a phenomenal job, really phenomenal job of getting information to us, recommendations, advice, regulatory relief, flexibility to allow us to make this transition. And honestly, schools around the state have done a fantastic job making really quick, massive changes to how we do things to continue providing some semblance of an education to kids, even though it's at home. And I don't pretend that it's the same without that daily interaction with certified teachers in front of them. A lot of it now falls on the self-motivation of students, right? And I'm going to come back to that theme, but first I want to talk about the governor. Mike Morath, who's the TEA commissioner yesterday, said that the governor will be talking today and will specifically talk about education. He did not give any hint as to what the governor is going to say. Just to recap, which I think you already know, schools are closed by order of the governor through May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you, right? So will he come out today and say, we're going to try to open up schools after May the 4th? Will he come out today and say schools are going to be closed until summer to give this, social distancing situation more time to do what it's doing to slow the spread of the virus? We have no idea, and Mike Morath made a point to say he's not going to preempt the governor on his announcement, so we'll just have to wait and see. He didn't give us a time, so I don't know what time today that will be. You might just be watching for it. I will be watching for it with bated breath to see what's announced, and then that's going to whatever he says is going to kind of kick off a flurry of superintendents calling one another saying, hey, how are you going to implement this, or what are you going to do? And so be watching for a response from MWISD. And our response may not come today. It may take us a couple of days or until tomorrow for all of us in leadership to put our heads together because I will talk to campus principals, I will talk to my assistant superintendent, my executive directors of the various services and programs that we have in our school district, so that we're all on the same page and so that we're all in kind of a consensus as to how to move forward, and do what's best. And I think you all know we're trying to balance public health and doing our part to help get back to normal, so that small businesses survive and people's livelihoods are as intact as possible. So I understand. I think all the people on my team understand both of the stressors that are affecting our people right now, and so we I'm don't want to scare anybody as far as what decision we will make in our school district. I'm a very cautious person, and we're going to be very cautious. People's health is very, very important, and obviously, and that kind of goes without saying. Sounds dumb now that I said it. I almost want to redo this video, but we'll be very, very cautious. And the governor's remarks the other day about his small business initiative made it very clear that the reopening of the economy is going to be very slow, and with an eye towards what's happening with the virus. The number of deaths in the United States of America yesterday was the highest it's been. So there had been a few days of it kind of flattening out, and then it kind of rose again yesterday. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet, and any decision hopefully the governor takes will take that into account, that we're still trying to get to that peak of the curve and start seeing it settle back down. We in MWISD will not be reckless. I can promise you that. We'll be extremely thoughtful, extremely careful. And I don't say we always make the right decision. I will tell you we always try to make the right decision. So that's kind of the update for today. So let me return back to what I was saying earlier about self-motivation among students. That's a character trait, and a lot of people don't realize that we have a character education program, and not just our school, but schools across Texas. That's part of our mandate, is that we do teach character traits to our students. And so we have, like at Lamar Elementary, the 6 pillars of character, and they're very specific. Responsibility, is one of them. And I would say, I'm embarrassed to say I don't have the 6 pillars of character at Lamar Elementary memorized. I apologize, Miss Fowler. I'm going to work on that. I bet Miss Fowler has them memorized. But anyway, so the new reality of education in Monroe ISD, it has put our students into a position where they have a real choice as to whether they, take ownership of their education, or whether they leave it to the side and relax and don't worry too much about it. And I understand it's not the same. Even if you fully embrace the activities that you're given, it's not. Students are not busy with academic work Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. I understand it's not the same number of hours. However, there are academic activities and work that students have in front of them, either in the form of their packets or in the form of what's shared online with them, and the extent to which they grab that by the horns and work it, whether they complete the pinata project that they had assigned before they got out of school, or whether they leave it sitting on a shelf and never touch it, whether they do the workouts that if they're in the secondary school that the coaches are putting out, or whether they don't. There are some of those things that the teacher and the coach may never know whether they did that work or not, but the kid knows. And so this is an opportunity for kids to step up and say, this is my education, this is my personal development, and I'm going to embrace it. And I know that's something that maybe I'm looking at it through adult eyes because I'm not a kid anymore, right? But I bring all this up just specifically because of a conversation I had yesterday with a dad from our school district who was telling me about his daughter, who's I think a junior in high school, and he was just talking about how impressed he's been with her. Coach Hobbs, who's a strength and conditioning coach, and he works with high schoolers. He also works with junior high students. He even works with Travis students when we're in session. Excuse me. He sends out uh, these really well developed workout plans, and I think he sends them out daily. Uh, but if not daily, certainly multiple times a week. And anyway, he was talking about his daughter. Um, has a little more time on her hands than typical, because we do in the United States of America. I noticed this. I got to go to Germany a few years ago and see how they do school over there. In the United States of America, we program our kids a lot with school stuff, but then outside of school, a lot of families here, our kids are very, very involved, whether it's karate, whether it's little league baseball, select teams, whether it's drama, whether it's we just our kids are very, very active, which I think is a good thing. But all of a sudden now there's a lot of time on our kids' hands, which maybe they're not used to, and maybe it's a breath of fresh air, at least for a while, to be able to do things that are a little less organized, and to have time to just say, what do I want to do today? Well, in the case of this student I'm talking about, what she has really embraced has been doing those workouts that are being sent by the coaches to stay in shape, or maybe even get in better shape than she was before. And I just was really inspired by his comments about this little girl's leadership. She's showing herself to be a leader during this time by taking those things that the coach has sent and saying, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do them, and I'm going to do them fully, because it's going to help me be stronger, be in better shape, be ready for when we are back. So just was really, really impressed by the story that Dad told me about his daughter. And I know there are dozens, hundreds of kids out there that are taking the reins of their own education, and it's not a situation where they're saying, well, if I don't do this work, my teacher's going to gripe at me tomorrow, because the teacher's not going to see you tomorrow. So they're probably not going to gripe at you. And so I just think that this is an opportunity for you as parents to really see your kids in action, and help guide their character development, because ultimately the end of the road of education is not just, did they pass the STAR test. That's not the end of the road of education. That's not why any of the educators I know do what we do. The end of the road in education is, can those kids walk out of school and never look back, and go into the next phase of their life and show leadership and be leaders, whether it's joining the military, whether it's going to 2-year, 4-year college, whether it's going straight into the workforce. Can they go into that situation and have the kind of character that it takes to step up and lead and make the world a better place through what they give, what they are able to dig out from inside of themselves, and invest in the world around them, the people around them, in making whatever situation they inhabit a better situation than they found it. And I think we have a lot of students that are doing that now. So sorry to get on my soapbox this morning. I just was really, and I hope the dad I'm talking about is watching, because it was, I loved the conversation I had with him about his daughter. I'm really impressed with her. So y'all have a great day.